Thank you, Anis. Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here today. Looking out at this crowd, I think I know at least half, if not two-thirds of you by name, so this should be an easy event, I hope. Those of you who I don't know, if your questions get too hard, then you won't have an opportunity to see me again. So I'd encourage you also to be pleasant and peaceful in your comments. Let me try to address the questions that come to my mind when I look at a title like the one that I have put up there. And I can promise you it's almost impossible to deal with them in 20 minutes. So I'm going to be running simply from the headlines from one issue to the other. Happy to answer questions later, or you can email me, and I actually do answer my emails, so I will answer those questions. Let's just look at the title, and thank you, shukran. First word is Egypt. Egypt is going through change. Anybody who doesn't see that, doesn't realize that, frankly, is both blind and deaf at the same time. And it creates a paradigm that we have to deal with in Egypt in defining our own politics, but the world has to deal with as well in dealing with us. What I see in terms of Egypt is a country, a people trying to define their political identity, trying to define their political system, trying to find a system that includes everyone, that wants to live peacefully with the other, and wants to look forward towards building a modern country that's compassionate, that's tolerant, that's part of the world. And it's something that has to be done with a different set of rules. And they are specifically, what I mean here is the rules of democracy. Providing access to information, having transparency in terms of how things are done, accountability for different stakeholders, having a lot of stakeholders debating the same topic over and over again and trying to find compromises with all that. And frankly, we're not used to that. It's much easier, believe me, it's much easier to govern through an autocratic system than to do it through a democratic system. It's not healthier, but it's much easier. So we are trying to define what our identity is. At the same time, we're trying to do that and create a system that is more equitable, fairer, more just, but without question more complex and more difficult to manage. The second set of words in that title is foreign policy. Well, Anis read my bio. When I started foreign policy a couple of decades ago, actually 3.5 decades ago, the world was different. I can name at least 8, if not 12 countries that didn't exist. How the world was managed was differently. Politically, it was Cold War, Warsaw NATO, state-to-state relations, and in all of that, our country, Egypt in particular, was right in the middle as an online country. One of those major states is now divided into several states, and I can give you, as I said, several others. That's not the only change. In the past, the focus in foreign policy was between state-to-state relations. You dealt with states most of the time, if not all of the time, and you allowed states to deal with their own constituencies. And that's how you had an incremental development of what your interests were and what the policies were.